What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. I'm really excited to introduce my next guest to you. He's an incredible entrepreneur that's really making some big waves in the space. He's a digital marketer, a coach, a co-creator of Better Leads Box, which is a digital advertising agency. And he says that you are amazing and perfect just the way you are. And you were put on this earth with a special gift to give the world and make it a better place. And when we all win, we all win. So please welcome to the show, Sidney Clevinger.
Hey, what's up, man? What's up, everybody? How are you?
What's up, Sid, man?
Having me on, man.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you coming on the show, man, taking some time out of your day to, share your experience, your wisdom with us. I like to start the show by saying as entrepreneurs, we're kind of all on this journey together. And it doesn't matter where you got started, if you're just getting started, if you've been on, established for a while, like we all have stories, we all have experience and lessons that we've learned along the way. So by sharing those with each other, we definitely can grow. So I definitely appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Yeah, he's right. Guys, I mean, like being an entrepreneur is a special breed. There's a great book I wrote from a really great guy named Alex Sharfin out of Austin. And he's an entrepreneurial type of coach, and he wrote a book called EPT, the Entrepreneurial Personality Type. And in that book, he really talks about not only he takes it beyond, but he takes a deep dive on the one percenters. And it's really neat because we're the people that people can't seem to understand or figure out, but we're also that 1% that people could never live without. And being a part of this 1% is a journey that all of us entrepreneurs understand that no one else can. And, and so just know that we're all in this together and we're all in this journey together. And it's hard for all of us. We all go through challenges, but that's where, we bind together and we aim to, the reason we got into entrepreneur in the first place is to be good and to be better than something else out there. So focus on doing and being better and the best that you can be every day, and you come out a winner.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that. Definitely. It's true. It's crazy to be an entrepreneur because when you think of the amount of work that you have to do and the amount of, testing and the just crap that you have to go through in order to build something valuable, like it's the work of a madman. But
it really is. And it's so easy to get passionate, dude. Like the Better Leads Box. I mean, I don't know if it's ever going to end. I mean, like I learned something new that I think's cool and I'll put it in there. It's just extra. I mean, it's turned into kind of like a legacy program for us just because I'm constantly doing digital training. I listen to digital training every night for an hour. Like that's literally on my calendar, and it's something that I do 5 days a week, Sunday through Thursday. And what's the crazy thing is it's only 1 hour a week. It's doing maybe a module or whatever it might be, or reading a newsletter or a book. But I put myself, that compounds so quickly. I mean, you do an hour a day. Think about how much you can get done just doing in the training, just by doing that simple hour a day. So, the best mindset stuff I've ever been taught is, aim at getting 1% better every day. And I know it, just aim at going outside your box just a little bit more every day. And when you continue to do that at the end of the year, you're 6 to 7 times better. And, it's so easy to get caught up into, what's going to happen tomorrow or what happened yesterday. That stuff you can't control. You can only control what's in front of you. And I'm like that too. Most entrepreneurs are. You really got to focus on just doing whatever is in front of you. Like for me, this podcast, the best that I can do. And I know if I focus on making this the best show that it can be and the best show that's on your podcast, Corey, and the best show that your audience has heard, then we win at putting this podcast together. And then my next task is going to be something else. If I put that much energy and that much thought into making it the best, it always comes out the best way it could have, and it always comes out in a good way. So
I love that, man.
I can take to anyone.
Yeah, that's a great mindset. Always do your best for sure. And it's funny that you talked about learning, how you had that on your schedule, that every day you do something at least for an hour. Because I was doing a little research on you before we got started, and one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk to you about was a video that I came across on your Facebook page. Which, by the way, you got a lot of content, like you say. You're always putting out training and really cool stuff, man. But I noticed this video that you had put out, and you were talking about something really interesting in regards to learning. You mentioned that a lot of times, really all we need is something framed in a certain way. Like it's probably something we've heard many times before, but when it's said by the certain person or framed in a certain way, then we can kind of grasp it. And I was just wondering if you could kind of go a little bit deeper. You mentioned also 3 different ways we learn: visual, kinesthetic, auditory.
Yeah, I mean, that's more of like getting into NLP. And I know when my wife, Tiffany, comes on this podcast, we'll talk to you a lot about that, but I'll mention it here. the psychology of sales is alive and well. We all know that. You know, stuff happens in the brain when one person talks to another person, period. But something happens in the brain when there's some sort of exchange, always. So, you know, to me, that's so cool. What goes on in the 6 inches of our head, you know, while all this stuff is going on. And then if you can learn how to leverage that and get people, persuade people ethically to get them basically out of their own way and get them to make the decision they know they need to make because they feel it in their gut, but their head, their logical part of the brain is telling them no, 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 for the same reason they've said no and missed out on every other opportunity in their life. Learning how to help people get by that gatekeeper in their brain and then see their life change. I mean, like with Trey, I mean, when we first met and we're like talking to him about all this stuff, you know, his mind, even though like emotionally, he's like, holy crap, this is exactly what I want. But logically, he's like, well, this is the same thing probably 20 people have told him. What makes this any different? And, you know, buying decisions are always made first by emotion, and then they're backed up by logic. The emotional side of the brain is your subconscious. That's the stuff that, you know, your subconscious, I believe it's 97 or 98% of everything is subconscious, which means that it's not something that consciously we see, feel, and all that stuff. It's the computer in our head. And, you know, and the math, you know, so figuring out, and where those three things and understanding how you learn falls in that. So the first thing we need to know is that our brain is built into two things. You have subconscious and conscious. I don't know the exact number. So let's just say over 90% of your brain is subconscious, meaning it's the computer, zeros and ones, it's binary. The other 10% or less than 10% is conscious. That's what recognizes colors, sounds, smells. That's our gatekeeper. That's what protects us. And, you know, understanding that and then how the brain's working when making a buying decision then leads into how people, you know, learn. And then I'll get into, you know, how I took that then, because that would be a great segue into how I took that and then learned this one piece after hearing it 5 different ways from 5 different mentors. And I'll get into kind of how that worked. And how I take that in every book that I read, every lesson that I learn, and I'll go into that. But, you know, when it comes to like this, we can learn 3 different ways or 4 different ways. And the 4th way is a mix of the 3 ways that we learn, okay? So you have visual, which is anything visual. So think of videos, movies, anything that you're watching and that's with movement. You have auditory. Auditory is going to be podcast sound. You know, someone likes to listen to something. So typically people who are auditory learners like to listen to a lot of music, typically like to play with music, rap, you know, anything to do with sound. They really love sounds and they typically are very sensitive to sound as well. The highly visual, those people love doing video trainings. They love VSLs. They love being in front of the camera. They love, you know, they love watching movies or documentaries because they'd rather watch the documentary than read about it, right? That's how they absorb the information. And then the last one is called kinesthetic. And kinesthetic is people who like to read and absorb through reading. For me personally, I'm an extremely high visual. Most people my age or younger than me are. That's the millennial generation. My dad and my mom, though, who are in the baby boomer, they tend to fall more on the kinesthetic. Because TV and all that was entertainment things that we have and had shoved in our face since we were born, they didn't have. You know, I think my parents grew up with one black and white TV in both of their houses. And they had 3 channels. You know, I grew up extremely humble, so that might even have been like the freaking Ritz-Carlton to them, right? So those are the 3 different ways that people consume information. So to talk to you about how powerful this is, I'll give you an example. When I first signed up with Frank Kern, so Frank Kern is kind of him and Brad Bearden, and Brad Bearden's kind of his right hand, his tech guy. Those 2 are my marketing mentors. Those are the people that I've always worked with in regards to like helping me when it comes to putting marketing campaigns and understanding messaging and understanding this NLP stuff. Those are the people that I always went to first. I've worked with Ryan Stewman. I've worked with Alex. I've worked with Marshall Silver and Dean Graciosi. And I mean, the list goes on and on. We love buying products. I just love consuming information. But, you know, Frank is really well known for being he's probably the best living copywriter right now. Dan Kennedy was kind of the one before him. He was Dan Kennedy's like one of his best students. And now his superpower is copywriting. So Frank, he doesn't really do sales funnels a lot. He writes you a sales letter. He'll write you a 5-page long sales letter to give you something away for $1. And no joke. He did that with the Convert 2.0 book he's been selling for a year now. The guy sells 300 of those books at $5 a day, every day. You know, so, you know, but he's able to get people to convert by not having to say a word to them, just by words. Here's where I struggled with that. When I would read that sales letter and I would force myself to just get through half of it. And the thing is it wasn't that I didn't like the information. The information wasn't good. I don't process information well that way. Here's what he did that converted me though. He took that exact same sales letter, no joke. He turned it into what's called a VSL, a video sales letter. So he took the exact same sales letter, turned it to I think it was a 13-minute or 23-minute like video sales letter. Almost word for word, sitting at a desk with a screen that said Frank Kern Inner Circle behind him, said the exact same sales letter in a video format. Not only did I sign up, I watched the video 4 times. So I ended up, consuming this content 4 times. It took me an hour and a half of consuming the content, which then led to me watching other videos about the same stuff. And I started binging a little bit. Whereas the exact same content over here with kinesthetic, I just couldn't absorb it that way. So one of the biggest, and then the last one is a mix of all 3. So there's and that's where a lot of us fall. I'm more of audio visual. So like, if you put anything in front of me that's audio or visual, I'm going to take it. The kinesthetic is where I struggle. That's a very popular one. Another popular one is going to be audio and kinesthetic. Like audio is very, very kind of in the middle, but usually you're not going to see too many visual kinesthetic because they're so apart. But a mix, typically a lot of people are mixed. Here's where this fits. In your audience, if you recognize, even if you got a bunch of millennials, the ads and stuff that you're putting out there is attracting a lot of millennials, you're going to know just through big data and through playing every ace and playing your cards that you're probably going to want to put highly visual ads in front of that audience because that's how they're going to consume it on. If I was to guess, that's what I would do. But I don't like guessing. So what we typically do when we're building ads and how we utilize this in our ad sets is we will make sure that there is a way for someone to consume this content in every way possible every single time it goes out. And then what we do is we find and we bucket the people that are taking in information certain ways, and then we basically put them into specific audiences and then only deliver the content the way they best like to consume it. That increases our engagement, that gets the audience out so we're not wasting ad spend on them because they're not consuming the stuff. And we're also able to compound this and get this out to the most amount of people the way they want to get it all at once, which means we're going to get the most amount of leads at one time that we're looking for. There's very few people that talk about how to do that. It's super simple, but no one talks.
It's interesting, man. Like it is simple. It's very simple when you break it down that way and you just look at the 3 categories. Like you can look at something, you can read something, or you can hear something. And it makes a lot of sense though when you talk about how there's certain people obviously are going to resonate with the different types of messages. And, when you're thinking about marketing and advertising, it would make sense to look at the data and understand, okay, how can I best communicate my message with my perfect prospect? And for everybody listening right now, I really hope you guys are pulling out a notebook, taking notes, because I can tell that we're already dropping a lot of fire on this interview. So definitely appreciate it, Sydney. This is awesome.
Absolutely, man. We all win when we all win, man. And, I'm just a huge believer in abundance. And, if you think about that, take a step back, because I say it so often now and people kind of wash it. But if you take a step back and listen to that, if everybody around you is winning, I would be, if I was a betting man, and I'm not, but if I was a betting man, I would put everything I have on the fact that you're probably winning as well.
Right.
And, the whole idea of velocity and abundance is, I never say it right, but reciprocity is so alive and well. And, it's one of those things, I can't explain it. Every time that I get up and I focus on just getting 1% better a day, even in my lowest of days, and I get them all the time. I wake up, there's days I feel like I don't even know what I'm doing. And people pay me $15,000 to work with me privately, right? I've worked with over 50 people at that price point. I know what I'm doing. The thing is, you get those doubts, you get those thoughts in your head, and, it's just, you got to know how to, as entrepreneurs, you got to know kind of what triggers and what ways and what thought patterns you need to get yourself back into. So, being able to, do that and truly help people and help people win means that you're going to win, regardless. And I can't explain it, but every time I just go out there and I do that for 4 or 5 days after a slump, all of a sudden an opportunity shows up that was nowhere 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And every single time, dude, it's happened. Like, I'm not joking. Like, manifestation is so real. And I mean, how many times have you lost your keys? It happens to me every day. How many times have you lost your keys? You've looked in that spot 10 times that day. Next time you go in there, you open it up and the keys are there all along.
Right.
I mean, that's manifestation. And it's alive and well. And, if you speak it and you put it out to the universe is going to answer your question. Yes, you got to be ready, because it might not be the answer you want, but I promise you, you start speaking to the universe and telling it what you want, it's going to tell you if you're ready for it.
Right. Well, it's going to test you. And I totally believe that as well. And it's interesting how once you start putting that out there and your desires, and like you say, you start putting it out to the world, to the universe, whatever you believe, God, whatever it may be, it's
Yeah.
funny how if you truly believe it to be so and you believe that you deserve it, opportunities start showing up that will give you the chance to get it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that's there's kind of a disconnect there because you're kind of talking about the law of attraction, right? And a
Right.
lot of people are stuck on this. Well, it's just,
Not
positive.
the secret. We're not talking about the secret. Don't go buy the book. There's a huge gaping hole in that book.
No,
You
it's,
have
but
to put
what,
in more.
but what a lot of people, where they stumble is they think, okay, if I just think positive thoughts, if I just put it out there, it's going to show up. And like, that's not how it works. You have to truly believe that you already have it, that you deserve it. And it doesn't show up. An opportunity for you to get it shows up. So
Or an opportunity to start that process. You just got to have your eyes wide open and recognize. I mean, like, an example. Literally right before I got on this podcast, Trey, my right-hand man, was on the phone with a guy he had talked to today. I don't even know how he got him. He reaches out to him and is like, hey man. And like the whole thing is, part of what me and Tiffany do is we're taking the profits from our business and we're investing those profits usually into real estate and doing a lot of real estate investment and just kind of building a portfolio. But like, this guy calls me and he's trying to sell me on something. Just by the mere fact that I basically am like, look, dude, I work with a lot of real estate agents. I don't really have the time to bring on another company. I'm already running, what I'm running now, and I got all this stuff. But what I can do is I can introduce you to some people that I know that can further your cause, right? By doing that, the guy flat out, like, by doing that, like, it wasn't even really brought up on the table. I was just like, this is what we got. And he's like, dude, that sounds pretty awesome. And we're going to send him over some of our stuff. We're probably going to sell the guy. So, I mean, like, that's kind of like, you're always going to, by giving, you always get. And you can't explain it, but you always have to have the mindset of other people first. Like, obviously, you're number one in your life. You got to look out for yourself. But, like, if you focus on helping other people win and your whole focus is helping other people get to the place they want to desire to get to, people, that's what you get paid for.
100%.
So eventually people are going to see that. They're going to start paying you for whatever it is that you're doing, whether it is that bringing them a gallon of water every day helps them make $1 billion. People are going to start hiring you to bring them that same gallon of water a day so they can make that same $1 billion. I mean, that's really what this is. And if you really break down a business, brother, breaking down a business is super simple. And 98% of businesses are this: we generate leads to sell them something. We sell them something, and then we fulfill on all the promises of what we sold them. And then we go and we generate some more leads and we sell them something, and then we do it all over again. And that's 98% of business. So don't make it hard. Do that. Generate some leads, sell some stuff, fulfill on what you promised, do it all over again. You don't need to make it hard. That's what we got to do.
It really is simple. And it's something I kind of preach on this show a lot, that, business is all about service. It's all about your customer and how you can solve a problem for them. And if you're thinking about yourself first, you're pretty much inevitably going to lose. Anytime you think about how am I going to get this money, or how can I make enough to do this or whatever, it's never going to work out for you. But by just focusing on the customer and the problem that they have and how you can solve that for them the best way that you can. And like you said, even if it's not something that you sell yourself, if you can just connect them with somebody that that's in your network, you're solving a problem for them. You're helping them out, providing goodwill. So mentality.
I love it. And like a great thing that Marshall Silver told me this, I'll never forget it. He, and it really has changed. I mean, I consider myself a pretty good salesman. I've gotten over 1,000 yeses in my lifetime. My lifetime, not my agency, my lifetime. I've been selling my whole life. So, 12 years, I've gotten about 1,000 yeses. But the thing is one thing Marshall said, and it really changed kind of, because if you ever noticed, I've never really sold the same thing twice. Every single deal has been custom. Every single deal has been built around whatever it is that they need, right? Like that, I truly believe that. I don't really believe in building one-off products that like you just sort of sell, because I don't think everybody fits in the box. Everybody needs something little different for whatever it is that they're doing. But I'll never forget, and this matches perfect with this, is Marshall told us in a training is never sell what you're selling, sell what they're buying. And, that's where kind of like, listen, like this morning, we got someone into our Better Leads Box program, which is basically like working with us privately, but it's an entire digital program and it's at a much lower cost. And, that, I get in there and like, she's like, listen, I got kind of a unique thing. I want to work with you on the marketing, but I really want to understand the mindset side, which is mainly Tiffany. So we just basically put together kind of like a BOGO deal and said, listen, we're going to do this. And we're in the CBD industry as well. So we help teach people how to build a CBD business for like next to nothing. And we hold all the fulfillment side on our end. So all they got to do is host a website for like 30 to $50 a month or whatever it is, but everything else is taken care of for them. That's our only overhead. And then basically when they make sales, they get paid 50%. So like we were just teaching basically a lot of stay-at-home moms how to do this and make a few extra $1,000 because they want to have a job, but they also got to take care of the kids. So, it really has boded well. Sorry, I got off track, but it's really boded well with just, these are the moms that this is what they need right now. I don't need to sell them something. I need to sell what they need. So we came up with a need or a product that would fit a need. And now, since it fits a need, we don't go out and solicit. We just talk about the damn thing and people join. We've talked about it for 2 weeks. I think we have like 20 people that are doing the CBD with us, and we're starting that on Sunday. So, people come to you. All you got to do is put it out there, and, the right people are going to come.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Definitely. I love what you guys are doing. And I love how just before we jumped on the call, you were talking to me about how you can help me out with this podcast, get more guests. I can tell you have that abundance mindset as well. And that's really, truly what's key to being successful in any area of life. So I definitely appreciate you, brother. And I want to dive into your story, Sydney. You mentioned that you've been doing sales for a long time. You've been obviously in this arena for a while, but I'm interested, like, how did you get started as a business person, as an entrepreneur? And is it something that you always wanted to do, or did it kind of just happen to you?
I guess the best way to put it was, I never really worked well. I never really did well working for someone else and someone else telling me what to do. So when I got out of college, I struggled finding jobs because no job was ever good enough for that person I never wanted to work for. I always kind of thought I always kind of wanted to work like my way. It was always kind of like my way, right? I would always see something or see how we can make it better. But when you're in an employee standpoint, like your job's to kind of be the slave, right? So and do whatever they say. And that's, push come to shove, that's basically what you are. They're paying you X so you can do whatever it is they want you to do. And they're telling you when to eat. They're telling you when to work. They're telling you when to go home to work. They're telling you when to check your email. They're telling you when to use the bathroom. In a way, you're a slave. In a way, you're in jail. And it's called a spade here. That's basically what it is. From 9 to 5, you're kind of in jail. And I just didn't like that. And I got told early on, that I was good at talking to people, not even sales. And I just really focused on. I got an article that I've submitted to like a couple of publications. It's all about this, and I'll send it to you when it gets published here in a week or so. But it's all about not how to sell, but it's all about my little process and being able to walk up to strangers every single day, start a conversation, influence them, and leave a leave behind that could lead to business in the future or lead to a relationship in the future. Not selling them, but kind of selling them on me, not selling them on a product, and try to teach people or show people that right now, bro, when we hopped on this podcast, do you not think that I'm trying to sell you and that I'm a good person and that I want people to listen to this podcast and I want to help grow your podcast? I want to get you in front of my people. I want you to help me from me being able to help you. Do you not think I immediately went to that? It wasn't you're not giving me money, but I'm trying to sell you on the idea that I'm a good person and that I'm the marketing guy for your people. Right?
Right.
That's sales. I'm selling you on the idea of something. Who's married that's listening to this podcast? As a husband, how many times do you sell your wife on something every freaking day? As a wife, how many times do you sell your husband on something every freaking day? I sell Tiffany on stuff that I want to do or I want to eat or what I want to do that day or wanting to go down and work by the pool or want to come down to the lounge or working in our apartment. Every single day, I'm trying to sell her 5 or 6 things. We just don't look at it as sales because we classify sales as a bad thing. All sales is a communication. It's a communication and an agreement between two people that is believed that it's an equal perceived value.
Right.
So that's all it is. We don't need to make it a big deal. And that was probably one of the biggest things I've helped with, Trey, when he came in, is the guy had every tool in the world. He was scared to death to ask for the sale. Did a couple of little things for him. All you need to do is and a lot of times it's all it is. You just got to make a couple of little tweaks and find out where it works. And once you find out it's working, you expand and you scale the crap out of it.
Yeah, well, you're right. And everything that we do every single day when we communicate with people is selling in a way, because like you say, if you're not selling a product or service, you're selling yourself, or you're selling your idea, or you're selling your opinion, or trying to get people to buy on to, what it is you want to do. And it's interesting how you mentioned that like from the start you kind of realized you're a bad employee. That's something I like to actually.
That was how I became an entrepreneur. Sorry, I spun that off into what I call blue squirrel moment. But
yeah. No worries, man. But it's something I'm actually proud of too. I am a terrible employee.
Horrible.
I'm
no one ever hire me ever again, please.
But that takes awareness. I think a lot of people struggle in a job and they're frustrated. They know they don't like it. They know they don't want to be there, but how can they figure out like what to do in that situation?
Well, I think it's just, the first thing I think for me, I kind of was just forced because, I couldn't get jobs. I was running out of money. I was married at the time with my ex-wife. I had to support. I had to figure out something, right? I mean, my clock started at, hey, you got bills you have to pay on the 5th, and you need to have the money or not, right? Now, obviously, I'm not in that position anymore, and we've been able to kind of over the last couple of years really turn the tide and be able to never have to be in that position. But dude, I went through those. I mean, I just remember sitting there. My first entrepreneurial type of thing was I'd gotten in a huge fight with my person. He was an advertising agency owner, and I just did not agree with what he was doing. And he was the type of person, man, that I don't know. I'm not one that, I'm the type of person that's like, listen, like, yes, we do this. And if I don't know it, I'll figure it out along the way. But I'd rather get stuff to market fast because there's people that want to buy stuff now. Why wait a week? You're going to get 0 sales in a week when if you put something out that maybe not be 100% perfect, put it out in beta at least and say, hey, we're looking for beta testers. We're going to give it to you for 90% off. Go ahead and at least start generating some money and getting some data, even if it's not perfect. Because guess what? It's really never going to be perfect. You're always going to be changing it. You're always going to be improving it. You're always going to be figuring out other ways to make it better. So instead of trying to make it perfect now, go ahead and run it now, make money from it now, and make it better along the way. That's I'm a big believer in that. And this guy was just like one of those guys where he got me interested in building software. So I started in software is how I got started. I was building software, building websites back before Wix and Weebly were a thing, and kind of took that market out.
Yeah.
But that's how I got, kind of started. My entrepreneurial journey started in Florida. I thought I would be a banker. And when I realized I didn't want to give away money to people who didn't want it back then and would knock on enough doors and called enough names, after 3 months, I realized it wasn't for me. And I just didn't show up to work the next day. And I had sold a website and started building websites for people in Florida. And I just sort of started building websites, and that got me into another ad agency to where I kind of built my own company while I was there. And I was there for 6 months, and I just realized like, hey, like I'm building this and this is my book. Why don't I just get my own vendors and I can make a lot more money. And instead of just like, I was only getting paid like 3% commission. So I was like, screw this. I can go get paid 50% commission and find my own vendors. And that's kind of how I started. And then I started building websites for people. And my first year, it was cool. Like, this was back when you could build a WordPress site and charge 10 or 15 grand for it. And, I did about like 8 or 10 websites, and then started working for this company. And that's kind of how I got started. And then just sort of never ended there. I came back to Kentucky, and I did work for an advertising agency here for about a year, just because I needed stable income at the time, and I needed insurance at the time. And, but after that, yeah, it was always kind of just I've always been in the, for whatever reason, the tech world. It got started in college. I wanted to be an athletic director, and I worked in the sports information or athletic communications department, helped build a website. And ever since then I've been hooked.
Just got hooked. Yeah, no, I feel you, man. And your story actually is very similar to mine in the sense that, as you started out wanting to do something else, but sales just it kept pulling you, man, just kept pulling you back.
Sale, you'll always have a job, brother.
I'm telling you, that is the #1 skill to learn. If anybody gets anything from this episode, you have to learn sales. It definitely will take you to the ends of the earth for sure.
And and I'm going to give away a sales book that is basically has my scripts in it. So, awesome. Feel free to, you guys have that. It's just my sales word tracks. I just call it a book. It was basically a blueprint that I built for my sales team. And then, and it was what I was using and what they were training on, and it ended up working really well for them. So I just turned it into an ebook, and people loved it. So, I'll give you guys that. So you get 2 books for this podcast. They're just downloads, no funnels, no opt-ins, nothing like that. Just, download them, enjoy them. And of course, if you like what I'm about, you like what we're doing over here, then of course, reach out to us and we'll see if we're a good fit. But, regardless, like, this is me just putting my best foot forward for your audience and, hoping to be able to help them in some little way.
I love it, man. Definitely appreciate that. And you guys, we'll have links for all that stuff down in the show notes, so that'll be easy for you guys to grab for sure. So, Sydney, let's go ahead and transition into the next topic, which is really this digital world that we've kind of been talking about a little bit. But I want to get your take, just sort of on some of the things that you're excited about in terms of social media, digital advertising, and just kind of the way things are going right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, social, I think's past the does it work. I think it's now everybody's figuring out how to get it to work. I don't think there's the question of does it work. I think that question's been answered just because of the increase of supply that has been. So like, what I mean by that is all the agencies that seem to be popping up out of everywhere. Because there's a lot of demand, there really is. I mean, everybody can build. It doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, I joke around about this, but I mean, I've helped people sell sex toys online. I've helped people sell $1 million apartments online. I've helped people do tax credit businesses online. I've helped lawyers. Anything. And what I tell people is if there's an audience out there, my job's to find it and then to position yourself in front of it. That's all this advertising stuff is. If you break it down, I'm looking to find an audience of people who would and could buy your stuff. And I'm putting an advertisement in front of them that's an irresistible offer advertisement that's saying, hey, you want to get involved? Get involved for this ridiculously low price, or just get involved right now and get all these bonuses that you wouldn't normally get because you're doing it on this ad. My job is just to put that information in front of those people. Because if I put it in front of enough of those people are going to convert because those are the people they're looking for. That's my job. That's all I do. Like push come to shove, the reason Frank Kern and Grant Cardone and Adam Dice and Stewman and all them, it's just because they've been doing it longer. It's not that they're any better. It's just that they've been doing it longer. So their faces and their voices and it's been out in the marketplace longer. That's all. I mean, the reason Frank is at the top is because Frank started the damn thing back in '99. Who else has been running ads since 1999? Not many people. Maybe Cody Sperber. I remember seeing his ads back in the day, him driving in a Chevy.
Yeah.
Selling real estate investment courses, but his stuff's awesome. I don't know if you've ever dove into Cody's stuff. His stuff's amazing.
No.
Cody's stuff is awesome.
No, but it's true. And I love what you said that, social media is well beyond the question of does it work? Now it's a matter of how can we make it work, right? And, as a young entrepreneur, as somebody that's looking to get into business, what would be some advice that you might give them in terms of finding that audience, because like you said, it's just about targeting. It's just about understanding who you're trying to reach.
Well, I think for a lot of people that enter into the social media world for the first time, a lot of them are not looking to go straight into paid ads. That's a very small bucket of people. Usually that bucket of people that goes in straight into paid ads, and they don't really go and they don't really get too involved with anything else, or they go straight into paid ads. Usually is an established company with an established sales process that is primarily not looking to build really any type of brand. They're looking to come in and just put ads up in front of a marketplace. Like that's kind of, it's a stranger person, because a lot of people want to kind of tiptoe in this world before they really go full on in this world, right? So a lot of times these people already have budgets. They've already allocated 5 or 10 grand a month. That's, I don't run into a lot of people like that. So my guess would be a lot of the people that do want to dab into social media for the first time would want to do so organic. And that's how I did it. And what organic means is free. That means you can go onto Facebook, go into your profile, and you can do certain things to help you kind of further your cause and get your name out there. So, the number one thing that you want to do and kind of what you're looking to do here at a 40,000 foot view level is anybody that's on social. Okay, Facebook is only as good. I'm just going to talk about Facebook right now because anybody that's looking to get into social needs to really concentrate on building out Facebook and Instagram first. Those are the biggest right now. Those have the most opportunity. Facebook is on 80% of the world is on Facebook. And it's not because the other 20% don't want to be. It's because the other 20% lives in China and China doesn't allow them to use it. Dead serious. They use something called Renren. And so the whole world's on Facebook. Really, I mean, there's over, I think it's 7 billion now is the number. I said 4.6 for a while. I think it's like over 7 billion profiles, but then like there's like 6.2 active, meaning that people log in once a month. It's like even me, I have a dummy profile just in case something happens and I need to have a profile to log into for something. But the first thing that we're looking to do here, beyond now understanding Facebook and Instagram need to be your first keys. I'm primarily going to talk about Facebook because I believe Facebook's the quickest for you to start generating real leads, real money. The rest of it's kind of complementary to that. So let's focus on Facebook. And anywhere, and definitely on Facebook, our primary goal is to position ourselves and our business as a celebrity and authority within a specific target-rich environment. That is our goal. Okay, so overall, that's what we're looking to do. To do that, okay, as a celebrity, we need to be seen everywhere. As an authority, we need to be looked at as the one person to go to within that marketplace or that quote-unquote audience to get that thing. So that's what we're looking to do. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to make sure we go out into the marketplace and allow people to know what it is that we do. We need to make sure that we're putting out content that is consumable, okay? Facebook is only as good as the people that are on it, meaning Facebook only cares about keeping as many people on that platform as possible. Why? Because Facebook only gets paid one way, and that's through impressions of ads, meaning people looking at ads. So the way that you're post organically off your stuff is going to be based on three factors, and that's engagement, affinity, and time decay. Engagement is people who engage with your stuff. So you put out a post, they engage, it stays in the feed. It's pretty simple. They like, they love, they comment, they share, they tag someone in it, they push it to watch it, they click on it to read it, they whatever. All that stuff counts as engagement, any type of touch. So when you put that out into the marketplace, the more engagement, the more it stays in the marketplace, stays in the ecosystem. Okay, so that's engagement. The next one's called affinity. This one's really, really cool. I use this and leverage this, and after I explain what it is, I'll give your audience a couple of tips they could probably do right now to generate not only leads, but sales for their company to end this month and get some more sales. Affinity, since Facebook is only geared at making sure you stay on the app, right? And they want to keep people on that app. That's why if people are engaging with your stuff, that means they're staying on the app because they're engaging, they like it. So Facebook's getting paid more money. They're going to keep it out there. The affinity is Facebook found through lots and lots of data, this would be classified as big data stuff they did years ago. They found that the people that were communicating with each other inside the network typically were more likely to engage with the post that they were then communicating with in the network. So this is where Facebook Messenger and engagement with other people's posts can be very, very lethal. So one thing, like, with you and me, we've been communicating a little bit on Facebook Messenger. But what I'm going to do here to kind of drive this home so you can see it is when we get off this podcast, I'm going to go to your profile and I'm going to comment a couple of your posts. I'm going to send you a couple of messages on Facebook. I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to do this. I guarantee you by the end of tonight or tomorrow, you're going to start seeing me in your Facebook feed and you've never seen me before. You didn't even know who I was yesterday. The reason that's happening is Facebook sees us communicating right now and thinks that if it starts putting my content or your content in front of me, because since we've been communicating, we're going to be more likely to engage. And that means that it's going to stay in the feed, or we're going to start showing our stuff to those people now. Okay. So that's going to allow you to leverage who you're speaking with or communicating with in Facebook, say the top 15 or 20 people. You're almost going to guarantee that the content that you put out there on Facebook they're going to have a chance to see it organically. So that's how you can really start to sniper people. Okay. So again, when you're putting that content out there, you're wanting them to see it. You're just wanting them to see your offer content. And you're wanting them to see content you're putting out there that's showing them that you're an expert in your space. So you put content out there. That content creates what's called you mentioned this earlier, goodwill. So the goodwill is created because you help them get from point A to point B by them learning something through the content you provided. That then helps strengthen what's called a bond between you and this person. As that bond strengthens, they like you more and more and more. The second they're ready to buy something from you, they then come to you. And the way they come to you is they friend request you, they send you a personal message, they comment on your stuff. A lot of ways that I do this in organics, I'll go live and I'll say comment comment BLB if you're interested in the Better Leads box, and we'll get one or two people that'll comment and we'll reach out to them, right? The affinity level is a really great way to really, I'm teaching this with Trey right now. He has, and it's the end of the month, we have 20 people that he's kind of hyper targeted on, right? And we know these 20 people have shown signs of wanting to convert. Okay. So basically we've been engaging with these people for the last couple of weeks. He just knows that, these 20 people is who he's focused on. Every day he's in front of them at least a couple times a day. And that's how you can really make sure that you're doing this with your social as well. So I have potential clients that I'm talking to. I communicate with them through Facebook, not through text, because then it makes sure that they're seeing my post on my personal feed I'm putting out. That's just a little trick. Another thing that I would highly suggest, and if your people do this, and you can ask Trey when we get off here. He's been doing this all week, and I think you generated about 20 or 30 leads from it. Yeah. Right. I call this just my friend request hack. So I'm sure you get this, Corey, all the time. You get friend requests from people you don't know.
Oh man, nonstop.
So I'm going to challenge you to do this when we get off here too. And I want you to tell me what happens. I want you to go and obviously use common sense. If they look like a stripper or a fake profile, don't do it, or pedophile or whatever. But for obvious people that have true connections with you, that you just don't happen to know them, reach out to you. Okay. I want you to reach back out to them with this exact word track. Okay. So if you guys listening, you probably want to write this down. This is the best opening word track. It's NLP laced all in it. It's open-ended. It's going to get you to get them to talk. And that's what you're looking to do at the beginning of a sales process. Okay. Getting them curious and then getting them to tell you their story so you can fix their problem. Okay. So this is how you'd say it. This is exactly what I say. I'll go there. We'll say it's Trey, because Trey's right next to me right now. So I go in, I look at my friend request, and hey, it's Trey. Okay, cool. So I don't know who Trey is. First thing I do is, okay, I'm connected with, oh, wow, over 30 people. So obviously we know a lot of the same people. I go in there and I go in there and he sends me a friend request. I do not automatically answer the friend request. Okay. I go in there and I then will click on, there's a little like 3-dotted button to send them a message, a personal message on your phone, but you can on the desktop, you send them a personal message, right? This personal message is going to say this. Hey, Trey, thanks so much for the ad on Facebook, my man, or whatever. Just thanks so much for the ad. It's very, very nice to meet you. I'm curious though, what enticed you to reach out to me today? Or I'm curious though, what made you decide to reach out to me today? I use the word enticed. I don't know why, but a lot of people like the decide word. So what we do is that little 3 short sentences is what we call an embedded command. So you're thanking them, you're acknowledging that they reached out to you. So now you know that they know you. You know each other now. Obviously they like you because they want to connect with you, right? So they've connected with you or reached out and touched you and said, hey, I like your stuff. I want to be connected with you in some way. And so you're going to reach out to them and just say, hey, what's up, man? Why are you wanting to be connected with me? This guy over the last 2 days has been doing this. He's done it with about 30 people. And what was it, Trey? About 5 of those people turned into leads that were saying they were interested in buying what we had to offer.
I get leads every time I do it.
Yeah. That's huge, man.
So, I mean, like, it's this, and all it is you're taking someone who's already shown interest in you. You don't know why. Maybe they read something about you. Maybe we put this podcast out there and I get some friend requests. Somebody tags me in a post and they're like, oh, I work with this influencer. Obviously he knows this guy. I should probably be connected to him too. Like, it happens from a bunch of different ways. So all we're doing is like, hey man, tell me your story. Like, why did you want to connect with me? What happens is about usually probably around 1 out of every 3 or 4 people, you're going to get back their entire story. You're going to get back like the entire thing. I want that. Why? Because them leaving that story is nothing more than breadcrumbs of clues of what it is that they do, where they're at, and what they're looking to get into, what they're looking to do. And then I just basically then go into not selling them what I have to offer, selling them whatever it is that they need. I'm framing it in my head so that it matches what it is that they're wanting, right? So like, I guarantee you guys, I guarantee it. I've not had one person tell me this does not work, because it does every single time. I've helped over 1,000 people do this. Literally, in your friend request, go to your friend request. Obviously, if you send it out to nothing but wannabe looking prostitutes, it's probably not going to work, okay? But use common sense. But send it out. I bet you got 20 or 30 people you could send this out to just in the last probably 3 or 4 months of people on Facebook. If you're on Facebook now doing anything, go out to those people, reach out to them, ask them, use that word track I used, because that word track is implying that they've already made the decision of wanting to talk to you or reach out to you because you asked them why they already did that. So that's implying, oh yeah, I did. I wanted to. Why did I want to talk to you? That increases the likelihood of them wanting to reply back. And there's all this where they're going to end up talking about themselves. People love talking about themselves. All that stuff's mental. So, I mean, like, throw that word track out there, man. Like, I'm telling you, it's probably one of the best things I got. Everybody that uses it does it. No one else really teaches it. I don't know why. It's such an easy thing, but organically, man, I made probably $300,000 or $400,000 last year doing that.
I gotta say,
I don't know the number, but I did it every day. Now I do it about twice a week, and I have some VAs that do it for me. I don't really do much of that stuff anymore.
Yeah, I've definitely never heard that strategy before, but it is absolutely brilliant, dude. It makes total sense, And it's funny because I used to look at that as something that was kind of annoying, just to get up with just nonstop printer. I mean, I get like 30 to 40 a day sometimes, and it's like, I don't know where these people are coming from. Like,
who cares? I'll look at them as leads. I'll look at them as people who want to be influenced by me in some way, or somebody who's been influenced and liked me enough to want to send me a friend request. My friend request, I don't take lightly. I really don't. So, I mean, like, if they really, my guess, I treat them like I would, or my thought process. So if they're wanting to spend the time to find me and send me a friend request, obviously emotionally influence them somehow, because that's an impulse reaction. So I emotionally influence them somehow. Why did I? Usually over half the time it's because I was tagged in something or something they saw in me and they liked it. And I'm usually able to gauge if social media is something, whatever I sell is something it is that they're looking for. And I'm telling you, man, I probably close 1 out of 10. I probably do. I really do. I would say that it's probably about an accurate number. I don't know the number, but I'd say probably around 1 out of 10.
Well, I got to say, this whole organic strategy that you've just laid out, like seriously, you guys listening right now, go back, pause this thing, go back, listen to it like 6 times, take notes, because that was serious knowledge right there. And honestly, I've never really heard anybody explain it in a way to me that made organic seem sexy, but that makes it seem sexy, man. When you understand, like you were talking about affinity and engagement and how, like really you kind of explained how the algorithm works and what.
Yeah, and there's one piece that I haven't even touched yet, which is time decay. But yeah, I mean, that's how it works. And time decay is built around just the sense of, and I know this still works because I see it every day. We're about to see it this weekend with the holiday. But what it is say I put a post out there, right? And I'm aiming to get the engagement, right? So Facebook's going to look at the top 25, 30, 40 people or whatever that I've, through infinity, are most likely going to engage with my stuff. They're going to blast that out to those first 30 or 45 people. I'm then immediately put on what's called a clock. So I'm put on a 60-second clock. It's around 60 seconds. It changes often. That 60-second clock is basically my timer to recognize if people are engaging with my stuff well enough or not. So what I'm doing is, say I put out a post in the morning, and that post in the morning gets a couple of engagements. The first 5 minutes it's out, but then after that, it goes into the 60-second time clock. No one engages. Facebook then sees that as, oh, okay, well, this thing was doing well, but now no one really cares anymore. Guess what it's going to do? It's going to replace it with something that is doing well. So yours then is going to go into what I call the Facebook abyss, never to be seen again, right? Here's where time decay comes in, and it works, and this is why I know it works. A lot of times during the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm sure you've seen this, my man. Have you ever seen those posts where it comes up and it says, hey, John Doe commented on a post from October 31st, 2015.
Right.
And there's the comment. Well, the reason that is because all Facebook algorithm is telling it, and I hate using the word algorithm because that scares a lot of people, but all it's, is telling itself is, oh, someone showed interest in this post again. Maybe I'm going to just basically throw it back into that. So it literally just throws it back into the feed, into that 60-second clock, and the whole process starts again. So with that, there's a lot of things that you can do with active and more recent posts to keep the post into the feed. Tiffany just had a women's post where she put up and told her story. She got over 2,000 people to like it, but that wasn't even what was impressive. What was impressive was it stayed at the top of the group, and it continually had great engagement flow for over a week. And through that, she was able to then get over, I think, like 70 or 80 friend requests to people who found out about her from that group, wanted to connect with her. She was able to then, I think, give away or ship out or sell over 20 or 30 of her books. And then she was able to then, I even think, how she's converted one of those people into one of her products. So that's how it happens. It's not put up a post and instantly money falls in your lap. There's work, but all we're looking to do here is we're putting posts out there to get people curious and liking us, right? We're looking to have people see us and have people want to work with us based on the information we're putting in front of them. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's what's important though to look at is it is work, right? But the whole idea is people they feel like they're going to come on social, they're going to put out posts and content and stuff like that, and then they get crickets, and then they think, oh, this doesn't work. But you just explained why it works, and that's really
it's science. I mean, I don't go out there for a week and post, bro. It's not like I got special permission from Facebook. They're not giving me love because I'm teaching people how to use it. I got really, really busy for about 2 weeks, posted nothing. And then I literally, for the first week after posting again, I got like no engagement because Facebook's like, dude, no one likes you anymore. You haven't been on our platform anymore. Like, seriously, I don't get special treatment. So, me and Tiffany, Tiffany we made it a conscious effort. It was kind of like a challenge for us this month because last month we were just so busy and we kind of got down when it came to like not putting out content. So like we've been very, very conscious about putting out content every single day this month, at least 3 times a day, like following our own advice kind of stuff. And just being conscious and following basically exactly what it is that we teach in one section of our basic training that we give out at our lowest price. We literally went in and said, we're going to do everything it is that we teach this month. And like no hot smoke, bro. This is the first time we're going to break $100,000 a month.
Love it.
Like Tiffany, this is the biggest month that she's had. My month is increased by about 30 to 40%. But I mean, like it's kind of also based on like I'd had my pipeline kind of flow came this way this month. I didn't have a lot of people in the pipeline last month. So that happened. But Tiffany went from on average in her best months being around 14 to 18. This month she's going to cross 75.
That's incredible.
And it's all about doing what we said we were going to do. And beyond that, you know, the money that you make in your business is a direct reflection to one thing. And that's how many offers that you make your marketplace, period. And that's where Tiffany fell. She was putting out all this great content, but she wasn't saying buy her stuff. The second she started saying buy her stuff, guess what? People started buying her stuff.
Right. They can't buy it if you don't have
$1,000 worth of it in August of 2019. And I'll take it. I'm happy to sit here and not work and let her be my sugar mama.
Yeah, right.
I'll go play golf or something. I don't need to work. I don't need to be famous. I'll just go play golf.
Well, I love it, man. Sydney, this honestly, dude, like you have dropped so much knowledge here. And I would love to see about maybe doing some kind of collab where we could do a training on the Facebook, especially this particular strategy. Because that is brilliant, man. But, you know, I want to go ahead and transition, dude. We gotta
I'm sorry, I talk a lot, man.
No, I love it, dude. I love it. Honestly, I want to do some of these extended podcast interviews because
maybe you and I can put together a masterclass or something. Maybe ask your audience if they want us to put together a masterclass, and you and I can throw together a masterclass and give it to them for.
No doubt, that would be very valuable, I think. But yeah, let's go ahead and transition, man, to the last topic, which is the work-life balance. You know, and really, like you said, you've got your girlfriend or wife. I'm sorry, she's your wife now.
I call her my wife. I call her my bride. We're engaged.
Okay. All right. So you got your lady. And, you know, you've got your coaching clients and you've got your business, everything else that's going on. You golf. Clearly you have, you know, hobbies and enjoy.
Golf, I get cranky.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I feel you, man. You gotta keep that manpower, you know. But what are some strategies that you're using to just manage everything in your
Man, I get asked this a lot. I get asked this a lot in our mastermind. And a lot of us, all of us ask these questions because we're all trying to find that nugget, right? And you mentioned something, too, I want to make sure I mentioned when I talked about learning, and I'll mention it kind of in answering this question. You know, when I join masterminds and I read books and, you know, I'm doing this thing called 75 Hard with Andy Frisella. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's the owner of First Form, and he has this kind of like movement he started a few months ago where you're on this kind of like work. It's not really a work. It's a mindset kind of thing you do for 75 days where you read and you read 10 pages, you do 2 workouts. One has to be outside. You have to drink a gallon of water, be on a diet plan, no alcohol, stuff like that. Anyway, you know, but I've always liked to read. I like to just consume information. And, you know, if there's one thing that I would tell people, I want to just, you know, there was one thing that I learned, and I definitely want to give the guy credit for it because whatever he did got it into my head. Because my parents have tried teaching me this. Tiffany's tried teaching me this. Marshall Silver's tried teaching me this. Ryan Stewman's tried teaching me this. Frank Kern's tried teaching me this. But it was Brad Bearden that finally got it through my head. And it was probably the most important lesson I've ever learned, which was the lesson of you can only control what's in front of you, like what I was telling you at the beginning of this. And the lesson was to, you know, be the best at what you're doing. You can only focus. Like this podcast right now is my only focus. My only focus. It's the only thing I control right now. So I know if I put 150% into this podcast, maybe it can influence somebody. Maybe, you know, it's going to just, if it influences one person in my eyes, it's a win. One person listens to it and uses one of the strategies and, you know, makes growth from it. It's a win, right? So I understand that in your life, whether you're reading or you're learning from someone or you're listening to these podcasts like this podcast here, there's never going to be one person, one training, one mentorship, one product, anything that's ever going to give you everything that you could ever need to live the best life you could ever live. All of us are different, and all of us have to learn and do things in a different way. So even when I spent $15,000 to work with, or $10,000 to work with Brad, you know, for a couple of months, that lesson that I learned was that small lesson that I needed to learn. Yeah, he taught me how to do a bunch of other stuff, but that small lesson is the biggest thing that I don't remember half the other stuff. I remember that small lesson though. You know, I'm spending $4,000 or $3,600 to be in a virtual mastermind with Ed Milet and Andy called a REIT or Arete. And, you know, like other people that are doing the live stuff with them are spending 72 grand, right? I'm leveraged in other places this year. I couldn't do that. But, you know, like I'm looking for one of those 30-minute calls. And I've already had a couple where I just, oh, wow, like I'm able to take this, leverage it, and really change my business with this one little thing. And I think that that's very powerful because, like, you know, I'll never forget Andy Frisella was the one that kind of taught me this lesson or made it aware. But like I'd always thought of that. Like my best lessons were always the little lessons that stuck in my mind. And that's what I'm always looking to do. I'm never going to read a book and like be, wow, like everything in this book just changed my life. You know, you want to know the biggest thing I took away from how to win friends and influence people is to smile. It's a whole chapter written on smiling. And that's my favorite book of all time. I have like classic editions up there that I only made like 1,000 copies. That's how much I love Dale Carnegie. And the biggest thing that I learned in how to win friends and influence people was that building your charisma through smiling. So just smiling when you're around other people and showing happiness and that energy is real has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars because I'm always serious. Like I just get really, really serious. I get into what's called, I guess Tiffany would call it my angry bitch face or something like that. So when I get like focused, it's like, you know, I look like I'm pissed, but I'm actually just thinking. And so like, you know, that got brought to my attention. And when I read that for the first time, I just started being happy and smiling and stuff like that, being a little more bubbly consciously, and more money came. So, you know, people like working with happy people. So, you know, I definitely recommend reading that. But if you have not read how to make friends and influence people, go to Half Price Bookstore right now. They have them on sale for $4. Go buy it and go read it tonight. It will change you. That's my favorite book. Man. That will change your life. That book is life in general. That's how to succeed in life.
Right. No,
Sorry.
I have read it.
That was not work-life balance related. Let me get back into work-life balance. How do I do work-life balance, man? Let me show you. I used Google Calendar is the app that I use. So just kind of give you an idea. So like this is like the calendar I have right now and all my blocked off stuff. So right now I'm on this call with you. And then right after that, I got a 7 o'clock with Arate. And then for an hour, every day for an hour, me and Tiffany have at least 1 hour a time where we spend each other. It's in our calendar. The reason that is because we live and die by our calendar. Right? I mean, push come to shove, I get, you know, a lot of this, I would say about half the stuff that gets put on my calendar gets put on by one of the 3 people that have access to it. Right. So like, I just kind of wake up and we practice. I used to be really into this. I guess this is me kicking myself in the butt, telling me get more into it. But a very, very great thing that I've done in the past, I should get back into it, is the Miracle Morning. Mm-hmm. Although I do visualizations consciously every day. And my visualizations are not me looking at a board. My visualizations are mainly me looking at my calendar, seeing every call, and then like mentally seeing myself win every call. But what we do, man, is we put there is absolutely no shame. And I see people who are worth tens of millions of dollars do this, who are massive family men. This is how Marshall does it. He's a huge family man. This is how Frank Kern does it. He's a huge family man. We schedule it because we live and die by our calendars. And I'm not one that likes to be in a box. I don't like to feel like I have to live and die by a calendar, but I've gotten to the point now, and most entrepreneurs, is we're just so busy and we go so fast. The calendar is what keeps me organized. If I didn't have that, then I'd be my head would have been chopped off a long time ago. So, you know, that's the best thing I can tell you. That's how I do it. There's no magic pill. There's no app. There's no way of, you know, my big thing is I play golf. I've played golf since I was 3 years old. I played competitively since I was 7. I'm not just a casual. I mean, I played in college. I played for money, you know, competitively. I mean, not like PGA Tour, but I mean like skins, like for hundreds of dollars, not just $5 games and stuff. So, you know, that is always kind of been something that's been a great vice for me to get away. But for me, I've always looked at how I can leverage something into helping me in as many ways as I can. So golf has really turned into a great private client lead generator for me as well, because I'm getting to rub elbows with people who are part of a country club, who's paying, you know, $8,000 a year to be a part of this country club or whatever it is. So, you know, they got money, and they're also within these groups and have major connections with people in politics. So golf is great because not only do if I get, you know, I've met 2 of these people where I've met through right now I'm working with, where they met me, didn't even know I had a Facebook profile. They just met me and liked what I had to say and turned into a private client. Those are 2 of my best clients because, you know, they come with no bad habits, and you know, I met them. They got to know the real me, not the Facebook me, before they hired me. And they did business with Sid, not Facebook Sid. And that's, you know, I think that goes a long way. So when you can really get into that, but, you know, I try to look in every way I can, but, you know, find something that you enjoy to do and then figure out a way that you can leverage it, you know, so that way you're also benefiting, you know, but you got to have work life, man. I'm very, very cautious about how much I sleep, about when I eat, what I eat, how I eat. I'm very much on a meal plan. I have a personal trainer. Tiffany and I do work out twice a day. Water, dude. Water is so important.
Yes, more water.
Like, I can't explain. If there's one thing I forget throughout the day, bro, besides eating, I forget what to drink. And before I know it, I won't have any water throughout the day. My mouth's dry, my body's dry, and I have no energy and I feel empty. You got to drink a gallon of water a day, and schedule out your breaks. And Tiffany and I are never really have a full day off, but we do take part days off. And I would say that too. Never. Why do you ever need to take a day off in my eyes? Like, to me, that's taking off a day of life. So, like, me and Tiffany always, one thing Tiffany and I do, since we are so busy, is once a month, we do a mini trip usually. Consciously, we do have date nights every week, but they're always scheduled in the calendar. Like, we're going to, was it San Padre Island here in Texas in a couple weeks, but it's scheduled and we already know what we're doing. And so we know when it's time to come to do that, nothing else can get in the way of that because it's in our schedule. So no one can go and schedule something there those times because it's already taken. So Tiffany is probably going to give you better answers for that, but that's how
Well, no, I love that, man. And I love what you said too about, like, there is no shame in scheduling your personal time on your calendar. And if anything, you have to do it. So there's been a couple of trends and themes kind of throughout this interview that I just want to touch on. One thing is that you've always had coaches. Like you said, you've even got, personal trainer. You've got, the meal plan coach. You've got, golf coach. I'm sure you've had golf coaches.
I've had golf coaches. Yeah, I don't have any now.
But you know what I mean? You've always had a coach in the area that you're trying to grow in. And I think that's a really important distinction to make. I think everyone should always be seeking out to better themselves in something. And you do that fastest through working with somebody who's already been there. So I love that. And then, you talk about
so someone who's been there or worse and has done exactly what you want to do and is at where you want to be or more.
Right.
That's what you will want to find.
Right. I love that. And then just with this last question, you talked about health, discipline, and staying organized. And all of these things are very important to the overall success of your life. Not even talking about business, but just being a successful human. You have to take care of your body. This physical body is super important. And without feeding it properly, without watering it properly,
to
produce.
Machine. You got to put oil in the engine, baby.
100%.
The engine, you ain't gonna, there's a great book out. I don't know. I mean, like, this is like completely off. There's the book that I really first understood all this stuff and really started believing that we sell all the time. I don't know if you ever watched $1 Million Listing New York.
I think I've seen it. Yeah.
There's a guy named Frederick Eklund. He's one of the top real estate agents in the world. He has a place in Sweden, a place in LA, New York, Miami now. I think he has one in Australia even. Anyway, he does like billions a year in real estate transactions. And I know, but he wrote a book called The Sale. And it is slanted toward real estate because the guy's real estate, but it's all about like how he lives his life. I mean, and if you got anybody out there that likes reading and wants a really good sales book, the three best sales books that I know that you should buy. And obviously I know this is about entrepreneurship and all of us are selling. So let me give you the three best that I know. The Sale by Frederick Eklund. The best one in my opinion is going to be The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. And the second best one, the second best one's probably going to be, in my opinion, the second best one would probably be for sales. Well, maybe those two. Those two would probably be the two best that I've definitely read. There's other sales books that are good, but those books, by far, hands down, two best sales books that I know of.
I love it. I love it.
The third best. How about that?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, my man,
cool, man. Well,
full of resources. I do got one more question for you, Sydney.
Yeah, man,
sure. Considering all your experience and everything you've done this far, I'm wondering, what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself maybe 5 or 10 years ago?
Don't be too hard on yourself. I think we're always our toughest critic. I think 10 years ago, I would have been just getting out of college. So I'm trying to think of like what exactly I was doing. I had so many, I came out at the worst time in college. I graduated in 2010. Shit, there was like no jobs anywhere back in 2000. The economy was at its lowest that year, I think. And so I came out, and I've been promised all this since I was little, go to school, do what they say, pass, get a degree, go to grad school even, get an MBA, come out and have all these opportunities to make six figures. Your life's going to be set, right? I come out, and I think the best job I got offered was selling something door to door. I think it was selling meat, selling steaks and stuff door to door, like walking around, driving around a freaking beat up old truck with a back freezer in it and walking door to door in neighborhoods of people, knocking on their door and trying to sell them hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of meat. Was my first job offer that I got. And, you know, I think back then I was so hard on myself because in every bad situation, which every day we get ran into a challenge of some sort, every single day. I mean, I get hundreds, it seems like, you know, I'm always running uphill on something, and that's a good thing because that means we're moving, making progress. But I used to look at that as progress. I used to look at that as, oh shit, like I screwed up again, right? Or I messed up again, or I'm not good enough again. I had those negative thoughts. And, you know, the thing is I've realized that my way of doing things might not be the perfect way. And everybody might not like it. But as long as I'm doing it for the betterment of whatever the betterment of the world or the person that I'm working with, and it gets done, and it gets done the way I said it would get done, and I do it, and they're happy, and it helps them, it doesn't really matter in between too much, right? So I think, you know, just be yourself and don't be scared. Like, you know, I mean, you know, I know I'm this country bumpkin kid from Eastern Kentucky. A lot of people, I grew up in a 5-light town and all that. And, you know, you hear that story so much, but, you know, I mean, I'm going to tell you, you know, don't be so, you know, Frederick was a flamingly gay porn star who had sex scenes in porn movies. And now the guy goes around and sells $25, $30 million condos. You know, don't be you know, Trey, who was on here, I know, told you his story. That's your substance. That's what people want to hear. Yeah, I'm embarrassed I had a gun in my mouth 3 years ago. At the same time, look at what I've done since I got that gun in my mouth. And since I carry that story with me, that story is what influences other people to help them. You know, why do you think me and Trey are so close? Why do you think we clicked? Because we lived a similar story. And being able to, you know, like I've cried and bawled my eyes in front of him because I've told him stuff that even Tiffany barely knows. You know, same thing with him. You know, and of course we're not going to talk about those, but you know what I mean. Right. So, you know, being authentic and being the best you can be is what people want. And, you know, just don't allow yourself to be hard on yourself for who you are. Believe it. You know, the biggest thing that I've learned is believing in myself on this journey. The more it seems I believe in myself, the more good things happen. You're perfect just the way you are, and you're perfect. You know, I don't want to get into God or religion, but let's just say our maker. I'm a firm believer that you were perfectly made to do a specific thing on this earth, better a cause for this. All of us are given special skills, bro. Why can I build ads super well? But when it comes to, writing ads and being in the ad agency is, you know, typically has to do with a lot of writing and a lot of creative. But when it comes to me sitting down in front of an Excel worksheet, bro, I'm at like a first grade level. So it's okay to not be good at something. It's okay to not be the best at everything. It's okay to make mistakes and learn. You know, it's just how you frame it up. And once I realized that, you know, the amount of power that I gained, Corey, when I realized that I'm never going to know it all, and if I just embrace the power of wanting to learn and consume as much knowledge as I can, once I surrendered to that and became very moldable, my life changed. Because at that moment forward, the stress and the worry of having to know everything and be everything all the time went away. And being able to tell people that I don't know or that I'll find out, or, you know, being able to say no to people that I just honestly don't think we're a good fit to work with is immense power.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's where you get your power. So, I mean, I would just say, don't be embarrassed of who you are. Be who you are. That's who we want you to be. And if your skill is freaking cutting hair, change the world by cutting hair. The guy that gave me my "We All Win When We All Win" tattoo, his skill is giving tattoos. His skill is being a creative artist. And he took his artist skill and he learned how to tattoo. Because tattoo is not an art form. Tattoo is a science. Tattoo is a skill that you learn. But his art is something you can't teach. So we were talking, because I did this all in one piece, Corey. It hurt like crazy. It was like 4.5 hours long. But when he did this, you know, we were talking, he said, you know, he feels like, and, you know, he said, this was his words, so I'm not going to throw this out, but he said he felt like his maker, or he's very religious, God put him on the earth to be able to express his creativity through tattoos because people really like his artwork, and he's made more than more than multiple people cry after they got their tattoos. And that's how he's able to connect with people and get people into what he believes, which, he is a huge Christian. So, like he gets people to come to church with him through tattoos. And push come to shove, I've done the same thing for us. Again, not pushing religion here. But I've just gotten people into the same, things that we're doing, or what, people who want to get involved with that kind of stuff. They came to us because they felt safe. And, me being able to influence them through the social media thing is the skill that I got to put them in a better place over there. So that's where I just think everything's interconnected. And, like it doesn't matter what skill it is, obviously, but then ethics. Okay. Don't be manipulating people for the fun of it. Don't be, I wouldn't say being a stripper is something that you put on earth to do. Okay. So let's be adults here. Being a porn star is not what I'm saying. Okay?
That's Earth's oldest profession, man.
Being a porn star, man. Like, yeah, I love it. But, I'm just saying, let's use some common sense here. I don't want anybody listening to this show and being like, dude, I did what you said. I went and became a porn star and it didn't help.
I don't think you've spread that.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because technically porn stars are entrepreneurs too. Okay.
Technically. But Sydney, man, honestly, bro, that really is really, really great advice, and definitely something I think everybody can resonate with. We all come from somewhere, and we shouldn't be beating ourselves up. We should be embracing who we are and sharing that with others. So, Sydney, if everybody wants to get in touch with you, where can they find you online, and sort of what you got going on in the world?
Yeah, sure, man. So they can check out, I guess, our website. You can go to www.betterleadsbox.com. That's really kind of what I'm about. If you want to get some free stuff over there, I kind of have a free 7-day training that I would encourage everybody to get into. It's absolutely free. It's literally how to build, like the whole goal of the training is to teach you how to start generating leads in the next 30 days. And we've had about 1,200 people go through that. No, more than that. We've had now about 1,600 people go through that in about 5 months, and we've got a lot of great things. It's super simple. They're super simple, super trainings, but they're, cut into 15 minutes or less. So it's not like you're spending all day doing it. And I'd love to put you all through that. So they can just go get into that at thebetterleadsbox.com. And if they ever want to get in touch with me, my man, getting in touch with Trey is going to be the best way, or just, finding me on social media. It's Sid Clevinger, which my name's going to be, I'm sure, in here. Just search me on social media, send me a private message, get in touch with Trey. But really the best way to get in touch with us is either send me a private message or get into the boot camp, and I promise you we'll have somebody reach out to you.
I love it. There you guys have it, man. You can tell that this man knows what he's talking about when it comes to marketing and advertising. So if you guys need help with that, if you want to get started with that, definitely check out Sydney and Better Leads Box. I'll link all that stuff down below, my man. So, I appreciate you, man. This has really been a blast. And honestly,
it took so long.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show, brother. And I guess we'll catch you on the next one.